beneath your heavy tread. I'm listening to the things you never said. You're a map of roads that lead to nowhere fast. A ghost of secrets living in the past. I've shed your breath and I've shed your bed, but there's a locked up room inside.
Welcome back, everyone. We got a lot to get into, so we're just gonna hit the ground running. Okay, here goes. I wanted us to be married to each other first. We will be. We're married to other people now. Not forever. Grace, we can't pretend that part doesn't exist. I'm not pretending. It feels like you are. Grace looked away. Connor immediately regretted saying it. They passed a park in Plano. Grace pointed. Pull over. Connor turned into the park and found a space beneath a row of trees. The parking lot was mostly empty. Before he could speak, Grace unbuckled her seatbelt and climbed across the console. She settled against him, wrapping her arms around his neck. Connor held her instinctively. Grace pressed her face into the side of his neck. Grace, I love you. I love you too. I need you. Connor closed his eyes. You're the only person who has ever understood me. Her voice softened further. I adore you. You are my home. You are the person I'm supposed to grow old with. Connor held her tighter. Grace spoke of the future with such confidence that it seemed temporarily real. She told him they would wake up beside each other. They would raise the baby together. Their children would adjust. The families would eventually understand. People would judge them, but judgment would pass. Love would remain. Connor listened to everything he had always wanted from a partner. He felt connected to her. He also felt more trapped than before. Physical intimacy had always been their emergency exit. Whenever reality became too complicated, they returned to the one place where neither of them had to explain anything. For Connor, closeness meant reassurance. For Grace, it often meant control had been restored. The conflict disappeared, not because it was resolved, because desire had temporarily drowned it out.
They drove back toward the campus where Grace had left the Lexus. Grace was smiling again. Connor almost believed they had crossed through the fear and reached the other side. Then they turned into the lot. Graham's truck was parked beside her car. Grace froze. Fuck. Connor slowed. Grace lowered herself in the passenger seat. Keep driving. Connor continued past the lot. He looked at her. Connor, why are you freaking out? Grace stared behind them. Because he's there. I can see that. Don't turn around. Connor drove toward the far exit. If we're keeping this baby, maybe we should confront him. Grace snapped toward him. What? He obviously tracked your car. Connor, no. He knows you're not working. Your car is sitting here and you aren't. Keep driving. Grace, we said we were going to be together. We are. You said this means we can finally be official. Not like this. Connor stared at her. Connor. Then when? This isn't the time. When is the time? Stop pushing me. I'm not pushing you. I'm asking a reasonable question. Grace's voice rose. You're being selfish. Connor laughed in disbelief. Selfish? Yes. You need to think about my children. Connor looked at her. Your children? Grace stiffened. What about my children? I have spent all day worrying about everyone. You told me that made me selfish. I finally tell you I want this. I say maybe we stop hiding. And now that makes me selfish too? Grace was silent. She crossed her arms. Grace, you making this about you. It is partly about me. You don't understand what Graham might do. I understand that he deserves to know his marriage is over. You don't get to decide that. Connor's voice became quieter. But you get to decide I'm going to be a father? Grace looked wounded. The shift was instant. "Take me back to the school. Your car is here. I'll get a teacher to bring me back later." "What are you going to tell Graham?" "That I went to a workshop and rode with someone else." Connor stared at her. "Are you serious? It makes sense." "No, it doesn't. It will to him." "I'm done hiding." Grace turned toward him.
Grace.
"If you can't handle simple things like this, maybe we shouldn't have the baby." Connor felt something break open inside him. All day he had been pulled from one emotional extreme to another. Joy, fear, guilt, hope, panic, love. Now Grace was using the pregnancy as a test he could not pass. "You know what?" His voice shook. "Maybe we shouldn't." Grace stared at him. The anger left her face. Tears replaced it. Connor immediately wanted the words back, but they were already between them. He pulled behind the school. Grace opened the door. "Grace," she stepped out. "Grace, wait!" She shut the door and walked toward the building. Connor watched her disappear inside.
That sentence would haunt Connor. Not because he believed it, because he said it during the one moment Grace needed to hear the opposite. But let's be honest about something. Grace had placed him in a situation where every answer was wrong. If he worried about the children, he was selfish. If he wanted to confront Graham, he was selfish. If he hesitated, he did not love her. If he moved too quickly, he did not understand the danger. Connor could not win because the definition of love changed every time he got close to meeting it.
Connor waited all night to hear from Grace. Nothing. He messaged through the game they used. Blocked. He tried another app. Blocked. He called the private number Grace sometimes used. No answer. He sent an email to an account she kept hidden. It bounced back. Every door had closed. Friday became Saturday. Saturday became Sunday. Connor checked his phone hundreds of times. He could barely eat. He slept in short pieces, waking each time convinced the phone had vibrated. Serena noticed he was distant, but she did not ask why. They had both become experts at leaving each other's pain unexplored. By Monday morning, Connor was barely functioning. He arrived at school early and called Grace's classroom. Her assistant answered. "Grace Bennett's room." Connor lowered his voice. "Is Grace available?" "She's absent today." Connor's stomach dropped. "Did she call in?" "Yes." "Is she okay?" "I don't know." Connor hung up. His hands shook. He imagined hospitals. He imagined Graham finding out. He imagined Grace alone. He imagined the pregnancy ending. His mind created 100 disasters and then forced him to experience each one as though it were already true. Later that morning, Connor received a message from his supervisor. "Come see me when you have a minute." Dr. Tink had been Connor's friend before she became his supervisor. That history made the message worse. A supervisor might call him in because his work had slipped. A friend would call him in because she had noticed why. Connor entered her office. Dr. Tink closed the door. She studied him for several seconds. "Dr. Tink, what is going on with you?" Connor tried to smile. "Nothing." "Don't do that." "Do what?" "Give me the answer you give everybody else." Connor looked down. Dr. Tink leaned forward. "Dr. Tink, you haven't slept. You're distracted. You've missed things you normally never miss. People are starting to notice." Connor nodded. "I'm worried about you." Those words did it. Not accusation. Concern. Connor's face collapsed. He covered his eyes with both hands. "Connor, I'm in love with someone." Dr. Tink remained still. Connor continued. "She's married." He laughed bitterly. "So am I." Dr. Tink did not interrupt. Connor told her about Grace, the messages, the meetings, Graham, the private investigator, the pregnancy, the clinic, the argument, the blocking. He told her everything so quickly that the words seemed to fall out before he could stop them. When he finished, the office was silent. Connor waited for judgment. It did not come. Dr. Tink understood more than most people would have. Years earlier, she had been involved in a district scandal. Connor had never judged her. He did not believe affairs were acceptable. He hated that he was involved in one. But he also understood that people watching from the outside rarely knew what happened behind closed doors. They saw the betrayal. They did not always see the years that came before it. Connor told Dr. Tink about Serena, the video he had found on their family computer. Serena with another man. The emotional abuse afterward, the verbal attacks, the physical incidents. The way Connor had slowly lost the ability to trust his own judgment. He knew Serena was likely still cheating. He knew their marriage was ending. He simply did not know how to leave it. Grace had felt like an exit. Now she felt like another locked room. Dr. Tink listened. When Connor finally stopped talking, she handed him a tissue. Dr. Tink, you need to breathe. Connor wiped his face. I don't know where she is. You cannot control that right now. What if she does something? Then you respond when you have information. I need to find her. No. Connor looked at her. Dr. Tink, you need to stop chasing every time she disappears. She's pregnant. And you are panicking. Of course I'm panicking. I know. Dr. Tink softened her voice. But panic is not a plan. Connor leaned back. For the first time in days, someone had spoken to him without requiring him to prove his love. Dr. Tink knew Grace Bennett. She knew the reputation. She knew how charming Grace could be. She also knew enough not to reduce Connor's situation to a simple moral lecture. Dr. Tink, give her space. Connor shook his head. She'll think I don't care. She may. That's what I'm afraid of. Dr. Tink looked directly at him. Dr. Tink, Connor, you cannot keep proving love by abandoning yourself. The sentence landed harder than Connor expected. Dr. Tink became something Connor had not had in months. A witness. Someone who knew the truth and did not immediately demand that he defend it. Secrets gain power in isolation.
Tuesday morning, Connor arrived before anyone else. He sat at his desk watching the clock. At the earliest moment he believed Grace might be in her classroom, he called. The phone rang. Once. Twice. Then Grace answered.
What?
Connor froze. He had never heard her use that voice with him. Grace? What do you want? I've been trying to reach you. I know. Are you okay? Grace said nothing. Are you at school? Obviously. What happened yesterday? I had something to take care of. Connor gripped the phone. Is the baby okay? Grace's answer came without emotion.
Grace. I took care of the baby.
Connor stopped breathing.
What does that mean? You don't need to worry about it anymore.
Grace, you got what you wanted.
No. Yes. That is not what I wanted. You said maybe we shouldn't have it. I was angry. So was I. You made a decision. You told me your opinion. No, I didn't. You did. I was confused. It doesn't matter now. Connor stood. He began pacing behind his desk. You should have called me. Why? Because I love that baby too. Grace laughed softly. Not amused. Wounded.
Grace, you didn't act like it.
I was scared.
So was I.
I wanted you.
I wanted the baby.
I wanted both.
You wanted time.
Yes.
And I didn't have time. Connor pressed his forehead against the wall. He felt devastated. He also felt relieved. The relief made him hate himself. The situation that had threatened to destroy both families was gone. So was the child he had begun imagining. Both truths existed together. He wanted to grieve. He wanted to breathe. He did not know which feeling made him worse. Connor, I'm sorry. Grace did not respond. I love you. Another pause. Grace,
I have to go.
She hung up. Connor remained standing with the phone against his ear. There are emotions people do not like admitting because they believe opposite feelings cancel each other out. They do not. Connor was devastated. Connor was relieved. He loved Grace. He was angry with her. He blamed himself. He blamed her. All of it was true. Human beings are messy like that. We want grief to be pure. We want love to be simple. But sometimes the most honest sentence a person can say is, I don't know how I feel because I feel everything.
Grace barely spoke to Connor over the next several days. Then, one evening, access returned through one of their gaming apps. No message, no explanation, just a notification that Grace was online. Connor stared at it for nearly 10 minutes before sending anything. Connor's message, "Are you okay?" Grace did not answer for an hour. Then, "Fine." That single word became enough. The conversation rebuilt slowly, a few sentences at a time. No mention of the pregnancy. Grace made that clear. Whenever Connor approached the subject, she disappeared, so he learned not to. Within weeks, they were speaking more regularly, but something had changed. Grace spent more visible time with Graham. She posted family activities, pictures, dinners. Then she and Graham booked a staycation at the Hilton Anatole in Dallas. It was one of Grace's favorite places because of the water park. Connor knew she loved it. Grace knew Connor knew. She posted photographs from the pool, a drink beside a lounge chair, Graham in the background, a hotel room view. Nothing explicitly romantic, nothing she could be accused of using to hurt Connor. Yet every image felt carefully selected. Connor understood the message. You did not choose me quickly enough, so now you get to watch me choose him. Connor reached out to Esme. What am I supposed to do? Esme hesitated before answering. Maybe back off. She's punishing me. Maybe. You know she is. Esme sighed. She's hurt. So am I. I know. What does she want from me? Maybe she wants you to fight for her. I've done nothing but fight for her. Then maybe give her space. Connor listened because he had no better answer. Dr. Tink had said the same thing. Back off. Stop chasing. Let Grace decide whether she wanted to return without Connor dragging her back. So he did. 2 days passed without contact. Connor began telling himself the relationship might be over. It broke his heart. It also felt strangely calm.
That weekend, Connor had plans to attend a large concert in Frisco with a group of friends, around 15 people, couples, single friends, co-workers, nobody Connor intended to pursue. By the day of the concert, he had not heard from Grace in 2 days. He told himself he would go. He would listen to music. He would drink a beer. He would remember that life existed outside a hidden relationship. Blink 182 was scheduled to perform. Connor arrived with the group. For the first time in weeks, he laughed without feeling guilty. Someone took a picture. Connor stood beside one of his male friends with several women from the group. He posted it to the gram. The picture had not been up for 30 seconds when his phone rang. Private number. Connor looked at the screen. He knew. He ignored it. The phone rang again. Then again. Then again. Blink 182 was about to take the stage. Connor tried to keep watching. The phone continued. Finally, he stepped away from the group and answered. Connor. Hello? Grace's voice exploded through the speaker. You have got to be fucking kidding me! Connor moved farther from the crowd. Grace? Yes, Grace. What are you talking about? I go silent so you can realize you are about to lose the best thing that ever happened to you. And you run off to a concert with a bunch of whores? Connor looked back toward the group. Not one of the women had flirted with him. Connor had not considered flirting with them. Still, hearing jealousy in Grace's voice created a rush of relief. She cared. She was watching. She did not want anyone else to have him. The reaction was toxic. Connor experienced it as love. Connor. Why don't you have Graham buy you another boat? Grace went quiet. Connor continued. Or take you to the Four Seasons. Maybe fly you to Europe. Grace's voice sharpened. You're such a child. I'm a child? Yes. You went on a staycation with your husband to punish me. I was not punishing you. Then what were you doing? Living my life? So am I. No, you're trying to hurt me. Connor laughed. Connor, you disappeared. I needed you to fight for me. How was I supposed to know that? If I push you away, it means I want you to fight for me. Connor stared at the phone.
Connor, that makes no sense. It makes sense if you love me. There it is. What? The test. What test? Everything is a test with you. Grace went silent. Connor could hear music and voices behind her. Connor, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm at a concert, and now I'm missing the concert because I'm talking to you. You care more about the concert than me? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Connor rubbed his forehead. Esme told me to give you space. Grace scoffed. Grace, Esme doesn't know everything. Dr. Tink told me the same thing. Silence. A different silence. Grace. What? Connor realized the mistake immediately. Grace, you told Dr. Tink? Yes. You told your supervisor about us? She was my friend first. You told someone at work? She isn't going to say anything. You promised nobody would know. I was falling apart. So you exposed me? I did not expose you. You told her my name. She already knows you. Grace's breathing changed. Connor heard the anger. Grace, if you truly love me, you will leave that concert right now. Connor looked toward the stage. The opening notes began. Thousands of people cheered. Leave and go where? Home. To what? Grace said nothing. Connor asked, Where are you? With Esme. Where? Soxy. Connor's chest tightened. She was close enough. That was all that mattered. The only way I'm leaving is if you come meet me. Grace hesitated. Fine. Connor felt a ridiculous wave of victory. Whew. Then Grace added, But if we get caught, this is on you. What? You're being reckless. Connor laughed in disbelief. You called me 15 times because I posted a picture, and you're making me come meet you. You don't have to come. You just said you wouldn't leave unless I did. Then don't ask me to leave. Grace paused. Send me the location. She hung up.
That conversation was their relationship in a nutshell. Grace disappeared to teach Connor a lesson. Connor gave her the space she asked for. Grace called it abandonment. Connor went to a concert. Grace called it betrayal. She demanded he leave. When he asked her to meet him instead, she agreed, then blamed him for the risk. That was becoming the pattern. Grace made the rules. Connor only learned them after he'd already broken them.
They met at Doty's bar in Fairview. Connor was waiting when Grace stepped out of the car. The anger disappeared the moment she saw him. She ran into his arms. You can't do that to me. Do what? Leave me. Connor looked at her. I thought you were choosing Graham. Grace shook her head. No. I wanted you to realize you were messing up. How? You doubted us. I was scared. You made me feel unwanted. Connor sighed. I chased you down the road. I went to the clinic. I never stopped choosing you. Grace's eyes filled. So now this is my fault? Connor already knew where the conversation was going. Grace hurt. Connor apologizing. He pulled her close. I'm sorry. Grace rested against him. You're mine. Connor kissed the top of her head. I'm yours. Oh, guess what, babe? I took shots with the lead singer from Lit. You know, Lit. They sing that song. My own worst enemy. Fitting. You're dumb. They both laughed.
Connor thought that was love. It wasn't. He heard passion where there was possession. He heard devotion where there was control. And when you spend enough of your life feeling unwanted, jealousy can feel like proof that you finally matter. That's how people mistake a cage for a home.
A few days had passed, and Graham was back in San Francisco. Connor arrived after dark. Grace greeted him with a smile, wrapped her arms around him, and kissed him before he could say a word. Music drifted through the house. A brand new bottle of Fireball sat on the kitchen counter. "What's that for?" Grace smiled. "Us." Connor laughed uneasily. "I don't think Fireball has ever helped us make a good decision." At first, it felt like old times. They talked, they laughed. Grace danced through the kitchen. She kissed him between songs and told him she'd almost lost him. Then the bottle emptied. Everything changed. Affection became accusation. Laughter became tears. "You didn't want our baby." Connor shook his head. "That isn't true. You said maybe we shouldn't have it. I was scared." "No," Grace whispered. "You didn't want us." The argument spiraled. She accused him of betraying her by confiding in Dr. Tink. He admitted he'd been falling apart. Then he said the one sentence he'd been carrying for weeks. "You disappeared. You blocked every way I had to reach you. I didn't know if you were alive or what had happened to the baby." Grace's expression hardened. She grabbed the Fireball bottle and disappeared into the bathroom, locking the door behind her. Connor knocked, then pleaded, then listened. Behind the door, Grace cried. She blamed herself. She blamed him. She talked about dying. Connor's heart began racing. He begged her to unlock the door. He reminded her of her children. He told her she wasn't alone. He even considered calling 911. But if he did, everything would be exposed. The affair, the pregnancy, the secret they'd built their lives around. Minutes later, the lock clicked. Grace opened the door. Mascara streaked her face. The bottle was nearly empty. Connor reached toward the whiskey. She jerked it away. Then she hit him. Once, twice, a slap, a punch, a kick. Connor stumbled backward, raising his arms to shield his face. "Grace, stop." She kept coming. Each strike came with another accusation. "You made me do this. You never loved me. You ruined everything." Connor calmly tried to de-escalate her. He backed away, blocked what he could, told her over and over, "Stop! Grace, stop!" Eventually, the fight burned itself out. Grace collapsed onto the bed in tears. Minutes later, she whispered, "Hold me." Connor hesitated, then lay beside her. Every time he thought she'd fallen asleep, she'd jolt awake, crying, apologizing, accusing him, or begging him not to leave. So he stayed. Not because he felt safe, because he was terrified she might hurt herself if he walked away. By nearly 4 in the morning, Grace finally fell asleep. Connor quietly covered her with a blanket, left water beside the bed, and walked outside. He sat behind the wheel of his truck, staring at the swelling in his face. His phone buzzed. One message. "Please don't leave me." Connor looked back at the house and shut off the engine.
People are going to hear this story and ask the same question. Why in the hell did Connor shut off the truck? Why didn't he drive away? Because by that point, Connor wasn't making decisions the way healthy people make decisions anymore. Months of manipulation had changed the way his mind worked. Every argument ended with him apologizing. Every boundary became proof he didn't love her. Every time he trusted his own instincts, Grace convinced him they were wrong. After a while, he stopped asking, "What's the right decision?" He started asking, "How do I keep Grace from falling apart?" That's what long-term emotional control does. It doesn't steal your intelligence, it steals your confidence in your own judgment. Then there's the abuse itself. People think abuse traps you with fear. Sometimes it traps you with responsibility. Connor wasn't sitting in that truck thinking about protecting himself. He was thinking, what if she hurts herself if I leave? What if this is the moment she gives up? He believed walking away would make him responsible for whatever happened next. So when that phone lit up, "Please don't leave me," Connor didn't hear manipulation. He heard someone begging to be saved. That's why he shut off the engine. Not because he was weak, because somewhere along the way, Grace had convinced him that rescuing her was the same thing as loving her. And once somebody starts believing that, walking away can feel more painful than staying.